Good afternoon. It is playoff time in the PIAA. Welcome inside the Philadelphia Field Hockey Game of the Week, featuring a Round 1 PIAA District 1 3A matchup between the 9th-seeded Neshaminy Skins and the 24th-seeded Pennsbury. Up in the broadcast booth, Matt Ellis along with Kathleen Simone. Neshaminy coming into this game 15-3 overall. They had an undefeated league season. And for third-year head coach Jamie Pinto, this has been a phenomenal season, really led by the production, 21 goals on the season from Peyton Ritchie.
Absolutely. Neshaminy, always a powerhouse in the Suburban 1 National Conference. This year, no different, although, boy, an undefeated season. And you're right, Peyton Ritchie, who is heading to Appalachian State, not this year, but the following year, as she is a junior, leading the team with 21 goals, 14 assists, 56 points, ranking her in the top 15 among 110 high schools.
On the flip side of it, Neshaminy at 8-9 overall, 7-6.
Pennsbury, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Pennsbury, 8-9 overall, 7-6 in their league season, and they have really been on the heels of Casey Glenn.
Absolutely, Pennsbury definitely not a team to overlook this game. It's going to be a very highly competitive matchup. The first time these two teams played earlier in the season, it went into overtime, and Neshaminy did come out on top 2-1. The second time they met, 3-1. So definitely going to be evenly matched. Pennsbury, a little bit, their attack is a little bit deeper in the sense that they have many contributors on the offensive end, contributing both goals and assists.
For Pennsbury, they will be, of course, backstopped by their phenomenal goaltender, Kira Kortzeb, who is one of the 4 captains on this team. Kortzeb, of course, captaining it along with Sammy Hackman, Anna Sharp, and Maya Geller. And those 4 players have been so crucial to what Pennsbury has done all season long and being able to get them into this playoff.
And Pennsbury last year was very deep with seniors. I believe they had a dozen seniors on the team, and a remarkable season, a real breakout season for them. So the fact that they are back here in the playoffs, round 1, is just a testament to the depth of the program, and it's going to be an exciting matchup.
There are 8 teams that receive byes in the first round of the playoffs, so Neshaminy coming in at 9th is the highest seeded team playing in the first round. We'll get into how the brackets all break down, and eventually it goes through into basically you want to get to the semifinals. You're guaranteed a spot into the state playoffs. However, there are 6 teams that do go to the state tournament. So it is a very long tournament as well that goes deep into November, and we'll talk about that as we go along in the broadcast. We'll take a look at the starting lineups. First for Pennsbury, and they're going to be led off by number 8, Celia Dolan, number 9, Sophia Hitchingham, number 10, Kaylee Williams, number 11, the captain, Maya Geller, 14 is Nicole Joniak, 22, Jamie Hude, 23, the other captain, Anna Sharp, along with her other co-captain, Sammy Hackman, wearing number 24, 33 is Eliana Bortman, 36, Casey Glynn, and 75, Kira Korzeb in goal for Neshaminy. They are led up top by the senior forward, Carolyn Angerer, along with Sophie Shart, Peyton Ritchie, Brooke Cordisco, Maddie Neiman, Tori Young, Kayla Connolly, Dylan Beagle, Jamie Pennington, Asia Barnard, and in goal, the junior keeper, Maddie Tiemann. Defensively for Neshaminy, it has really been Sophie Shart all season long, being strong in the back line. What is Neshaminy going to have to look out of her today to be able to get this game through?
Just again being a strong anchor in the backfield, holding back a lot of Pennsbury's very strong attackers, meeting them higher on the field, not letting them entering the circle. Now, Pennsbury on the season has averaged 2.53 goals per game. So that's just under 3, or about 2.5 rather, whereas Neshaminy has been averaging 3.89 goals. So pretty evenly matched there. I still think that Pennsbury has the defensive end for Pennsbury will have a lot to contend with between Peyton Ritchie and also their midfielder, Jamie Pennington, heading to Villanova. Very strong in transition and also contributing on the offensive end on corners.
It is a difficult road ahead for either of these teams. They are in technically what is identified as game 28 on the bracket, but this is no easy road for these two teams. You get through this game, you end up essentially on the road at Souderton in the 8th seed, and if you get through them, you're likely going to run into CB East. And so how do you kind of pave the road for either of these teams?
I think it's definitely one game at a time for both of them, as it has been throughout the season, is my guess. Certainly they've all had their hopes and their eyes on moving forward into districts, but you're right, the competition next round between Central Bucks East, that would be, I guess,
if you get through Souderton.
If you get through Souderton. Souderton ranked 8th, highly effective offensive team, but right now, I think these teams are just focused on this game. It is a grass game. Both teams' home fields are grass, so kind of an even playing field in terms of, one team not being a turf team. So, and then moving forward, it's all turf, turf, turf after that. Both teams obviously have had quite a few games on the road where they've played on turf, and many of them play for some of the top Philadelphia area club teams, so it's not new to them either.
At least with a grass field and the fact that it's a field hockey specific surface, we don't have to talk about which lines we're playing. There's only one pair of lines on the field. It's the white lines, and that's what we're playing with today.
One thing to point out too, Matt, is that Neshaminy is only allowed .72 goals per season. That is so few. So Pennsbury's going to have to strike fast, strike hard, really, to set the momentum. You're going against a team that's allowed less than 1 goal per game. On the flip side, Pennsbury has only allowed 1.53. So, neither of these teams, I don't think we're going to see a high-scoring game. We're going to see a competitive matchup, and I'm ready. I'm excited to bring this on.
It is the 2018 edition of the PIAA District 1 Playoffs, a Class 3A matchup. 30 minutes on the clock as we are waiting for the officials to whistle the teams to the field, back in their final huddles, talking over their last-minute notes from the coaching staffs. And Neshaminy last year did get through into the second round of the playoffs, so they are looking to at least equal their postseason success of last year and hopefully add to it and make it a little bit further.
As far as other district games today, it looks as though for the AAA teams or 3A teams are the only teams competing. 2A and 1A will kick off the district playoffs tomorrow, and the PCL tournament will kick into play later this week. Of course, the Interac and the Friends schools are still in regular season play. They continue for another week, week and a half, before they hit their PACA tournament.
Neshaminy in the blue kilts, white tops, red numbers. Pennsbury looks like they're in red numbers?
Orange, black and orange.
From our broadcast position, it's a very interesting effect of the sun setting directly behind us. So we're going to call it black kilts, orange numbers, going by the fact that that Kira Korzeb's jersey is orange.
Make sure you check back on philafieldhockey.com every night throughout the playoffs. We will have scores, stats, highlights, as well as kind of following the bracket, so you'll see what the next matchup will be and the date, so you know where to plan not to miss a game.
Sammy Hackman over top of the ball, waiting for the whistle, goes, and the quick pass back lands on the stick and an outside tap right away to Sophia Hitchingham. Defensive possession here for Neshaminy, but it gets turned back over, and it's Hackman running the way towards the circle. She is guilty of the poke check there, and so it sends back the way of Neshaminy. That's Sophia Shart.
You're seeing Peyton Ritchie with the ball the first time this game. She is a prolific scorer for Neshaminy and plays primarily on the right side of the field, sometimes moves a little bit toward the center, but is really strong at carrying the ball down and setting up her teammates as well as scoring.
Ritchie had a run down the sideline there before it's tipped off by a few Pennsbury players. Back now, though, onto the stick of Maddie Neiman. Neiman gets it into the center, tips off of Peyton Ritchie again, guilty of the obstruction, and so it sends the way of Pennsbury. Lifted pass, tips through a couple of players, finally lands back on the stick of Neiman. Neiman gets it up top to Barnard. Asia Barnard, first time with her stick to the ball today. And Ritchie again trying to go inside and a little flustered at the call.
Both teams really not stretching the width of the field right now, kind of positioned very close to the middle, blocking the ball. I'm sure they're all anxious to, get a stick on the ball and get it rolling for their team, but I kind of feel like they definitely need to spread the field a little bit. We'll see what happens as this game progresses.
Maddie Neiman got the ball to Jamie Pennington. Pennington had a chance there, but she's guilty of the turnover. Maya Geller has it running away before she is stopped on an obstruction, so it will come back, restart for Pennsbury. Self-start chance, and we're going to get a card issued right away, and a green card 5 minutes issued to Peyton Ritchie, who swung around on the defensive check.
She looked really surprised on that. I think it was perhaps setting the tone early by the officials early in a district game that, they're going to keep a tight eye and make sure that play runs smoothly without any problems.
Anna Sharp did have a mishit on the restart there, which I think kind of spooked Ritchie a little bit and sent her to swing away. Here's a ball down the line, battled by Sammy Hackman. They stick with it. Sophia Hitchingham has the start now. She tries to go midfield, gets it onto the stick of Sharp again, and Sharp tries to drive to the line. Does not get directly into the circle, but she will start it right at the top of the zone.
Neshaminy packing every player down inside the 25. We'll see if they all pack in on the center, into the circle as well, but transition back quickly.
Neshaminy in a bit of a stuck position. They were trying to get Carolyn Angerer free. She was unable to get the pass. So as it bounces around, lands back on the stick of Neiman, who leaves it off for Brooke Cordisco. Cordisco to Neiman now. Neiman trying to get through the Pennsbury defense. Unable to do so, turns back around, lands onto the stick of Sammy Hackman. Hackman making a run inside the circle now, tipped away defensively. That was Sophia Sharp. Quick shit, restart. Bounces through right on the baseline, and they were able to keep it out.
Neshaminy definitely controlling the ball early on in the game, and we're only 3-4 minutes in. Ball seems to be finding itself between or inside their offensive 50. You can tell both teams are grass teams right away because there's less pushing and there's more hitting. Lots of backstrokes to propel that ball. Although this field is cut very low and the ball's moving relatively quickly.
Neshaminy trying to get anything started offensively here. They have been stuck in the back zone for most of the game. Again, Neiman trying to get the ball out of the zone. She is unable to do so. Pops out of bounds. Pennsbury has it one more time. Coming across midfield now onto the stick of Dolan. Chance there, but it's picked up by Neshaminy running back, and Peyton Ritchie free from the penalty box has the ball near side. Beautiful hit straight across, gets it onto the stick of Neiman. Neiman has a chance here. It's Angerer. Now it's onto the stick of Pennington, and Pennington gets the first corner of the game. So Jamie Pennington, fifth player to touch the ball in the offensive possession there, fights her way through and lands the first corner of the game, and now she will take the spot at the corner, the junior midfielder. Two up top. They go short to Ritchie. Ritchie goes back to Pennington, trying to go across the line. It gets up top, tipped across, and another corner called. Second corner of the game for Neshaminy. Pennington again, and this time she will go near side. Neshaminy flipping around their personnel, sending Ritchie up top now, along with Kayla Connolly. It gets onto the stick of Ritchie. Ritchie's in a battle, 1v1, and it goes the other way. So Pennsbury will gain possession, 16 out. Quick hit one more time, bounces through, lands onto a stick, and they have 3 forwards available now. Look to be Nicole Joniak, first time getting her stick to the ball as Pennsbury running the opposite direction. Peyton Ritchie gets to the circle and a possession called, so they will take it from about 20 out. And a whistle and a turnover that had just about everybody on the benches and all of us up in the booth confused too.
I wasn't so sure what was happening there.
Now one more time, Pennington here trying to get a ball inside.
Nice explosive move by Anna Sharp.
Comes around on the stick of Dylan Beagle. Beagle trying to get through. She has the ability to get it inside the circle. It pops back out and lands to Kayla Connolly. Connolly chases it, but it goes outside of the line. They're going to call it tipped off of Pennsbury. So it's going to be a Neshaminy ball, Beagle right at the line. She has Connolly deep. Tries to go up center to Ritchie, cannot get through to her. Pennsbury takes possession once again and a long hit one more time. They're going to call a restart on the hit.
Sure, it's breaking the heart of the Pennsbury head coach, Jamie Perrell, who could not be here today. And in her place at the helm of the program today is Shannon McPherson, who's the assistant coach and certainly has been working with these girls all season. So not that big of a challenge for her, but what a time to be serving as the head coach in the first round of district playoffs.
Neshaminy now trying to get dominance of possession. Here a corner called, third of the half. Pennington goes back to the spot one more time. Ritchie shifted left of goal. Connolly up top along with Neiman. It goes up top to Connolly. She tips over to Maddie Neiman. Neiman's shot tips up off of the foot of a Pennsbury player and a corner called one more time.
Now, Jamie Pennington has been doing the inserts for Neshaminy, and it's kind of makes you think a little bit about Villanova's team, where her sister, Kristen Pennington, is, I believe, a junior, and also does the inserts for the Villanova Wildcats, and is involved in the defensive corners as well. And her sister will be following her footsteps to Villanova in 2 years.
Pennsbury now with run of possession here, midfield of play. This is Maya Geller. Geller twisting and turning, and Geller guilty of an elbow infraction. Sends it back the way of Neshaminy. Sophie Shart now trying to get it to Peyton Ritchie. Ritchie trying to turn through 3 black jerseys inside the circle. Gets it right on the foot of the goal, and a turning play from Sophia Perillo is unable to go, and now Pennsbury has run of play the opposite direction.
Ritchie really does a great job of moving the ball even in heavy traffic, and I remember seeing her as a freshman at one of our games of the week and was really impressed with her ball speed and her fire that she had, and it's she's really blossomed to even a stronger player and is definitely going to be critical in this game.
And on the obstruction call, another corner inside the circle, 5th already of the first half.
Neshaminy's doing an excellent job taking their free position hits quickly and creating even more opportunities. This is the second corner that resulted, I believe, right after a free hit when they got the ball moving so quickly, caught the defense off guard, hit their feeder, got them caught up in an obstruction. So well executed.
Shot inside, goes through Carolyn Engerer's stick, unable to get to the goal. Comes across the baseline, and so Pennsbury will have a restart. On the corner, Sophia Hitchingham exited the game. Maddie Spratt getting her first action of the day today. Again, a ball inside from Jamie Pennington. Pennington trying to get anything. Ritchie one more time, and she is impacted right away by 3 Pennsbury defenders, and another corner called, the 6th.
Interesting to see 3 players collapse on Ritchie, even when the ball's inside of the corner. I mean, inside of the circle, rather. Obviously, they're going to double team her, but to have 3 girls on her, leaving others open, willing to take that risk to leave other players open, I guess. But it has resulted in a corner opportunity several times, none of which Neshaminy's been able to capitalize on.
Kayla Connolly had a drive there and a chance, got it on the stick of Dylan Beagle, and then Beagle impacts with 2 Pennsbury players and forces the obstruction, so it goes the other way. Pennsbury now here with the restart. This is Eliana Bortman. Bortman goes inside to the center, lands it onto the stick of Anna Sharp. Sharp tries to drive center. Obstruction called, so they will have a restart just at about midfield on the stick of Maya Geller. Geller comes across back onto the stick of Sharp. Sharp trying to gain that line. She is unable to do so, tips out of bounds. Neshaminy far side restart, Maddie Neiman. Long hit all the way downfield looking for Ritchie. It evades her, gets passed through into the Pennsbury defense, and then Carolyn Engerer picks it up, tries to change possession. Neiman in a 1v1 battle gets it onto the stick of Ritchie. Ritchie is just outside of the circle, impacted, so she gets a restart on the obstruction called. Goes through baseline again. 1v1 battles now. Pennsbury's defense tying up man-to-man, trying to keep anybody toughly down in the zone. This lands onto the stick of Sammy Hackman now. Hackman has a run before she's impacted by Sophie Shart.
Nice transition ball, though, from Maya Geller, and that's what Pennsbury's going to need to do, get that ball up in transition quicker before Neshaminy's defenses and their entire team is set inside the 25.
This is Geller 1v1 with Connolly. Now it's back onto the stick of Connolly. Tries to go midfield. Gets impacted by 3, now 4 Pennsbury jerseys. And Nancy Lynn, the junior forward, getting her first action of the game in a offensive possession. But Pennsbury gets the turnover and has a run of play. Chance here midfield. Sammy Hackman. Stick check called. Geller now goes midfield hit straight onto the stick of Maddie Neiman. Neiman wearing the opposite team jersey, but Neiman unable to control as it goes to the stick of Anna Sharp. Sharp running herself on the carry for the circle. She gets inside, reverse position hit. Now it lands into the middle of 4 white jerseys and then is popped out of bounds. Nicole Joniak had a chance there.
We're about halfway through the first half, and I'd say the ball has been finding itself in the 25 of each team pretty evenly. We started out with Pennsbury a little bit stronger in terms of possession time, switched over to Neshaminy, and now the ball's heading back here. So anyone's game for sure.
Pennsbury pops to the outside, now goes back to the baseline, tries to get inside the circle. They do, and they are guilty of the obstruction on the jab check there, so it will send the way of Neshaminy from about 16. Tries to go midfield. They land it onto the stick of Lynn. Lynn trying to release Anger free, but she is unable to gain possession on the outside line and is tipped off of a defensive stick from Pennsbury. So they restart again. Now this is Peyton Ritchie, and Ritchie, a third-party obstruction, as she had Nancy Lynn along with her, blocking out the Pennsbury player. So it turns back to Pennsbury. This is Hackman now. Hackman with a run outside line, looking for any options inside. She'll carry it herself to the circle and gets impacted just outside of the circle. So obstruction called, and Pennsbury will have it just about a foot outside of the circle. Restart as they go to the top of the line, now hit back inside, tips off Neshaminy way.
Hackman's been another offensive force for Pennsbury and has really demonstrated already today some fire when she has the ball. I mean,
Look
she
at
wants
Peyton
it.
Ritchie on the sideline here. 1v1, 2 around, goes, shot right to the line. Saved by Korzib. Second save by Korzib. 3 defenders in play, trying to get it in a corner, finally called.
Beautiful run by Ritchie. Set that up, bounced off the goalkeeper's pads. It's a shame that the player that received it didn't take another few seconds just to put it around, because the left side of the cage was open. But, you know, easy to say now, but when you're there with lots of defensive pressure, and it's not so easy.
7th corner of the game, and now 8th corner of the game called as a shot from Kayla Connolly goes right into Korzib and then hits off of the foot of a Pennsbury defender, and so it sends them back to the spot again. Pennington one more time. She goes to Ritchie this time. Ritchie just long hits right through. It gets into the wall of Pennsbury defenders and then finally tipped out of play. It'll get picked up by Maddie Spratt. She gets about 3 yards before it goes out of bounds, so it will come back in off of the stick of Neshaminy's Dylan Beagle. Beagle goes sideline trying to get it to Connolly. She is unable to control, and so now it will turn back the opposite direction for Bortman.
I think it's safe to say that Pennsbury's goalkeeper, Kira Korzeb, has been definitely a strength for the team. That last save in particular was excellent. It was somewhat of a diving save and really prevented a 1-0 score from Neshaminy, so well done.
Timeout called by Pennsbury. This live video stream of the Phila Field Hockey Game of the Week is brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions, based right outside of Philadelphia. Payroll Service Solutions is a huge supporter of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you are a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll and benefits company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY-EASY.
Interesting game in that Neshaminy has really, although they have not dominated that much, when they do get the ball inside their offensive end, they're definitely taking advantage of opportunities, creating 8 penalty corners already to Pennsbury's 0. So it's fantastic they're forcing these corners. I think they need to, figure out how to get that ball on the backboard. Definitely props to Pennsbury's defense. They've done a terrific job with a lot of offensive pressure inside of the circle, led by their goalkeeper, as I just highlighted.
12:20 left to go in the first half, a scoreless ball game between Pennsbury and Neshaminy, a first-round matchup in the Class 3A division of the PIAA District 1 playoffs.
Other games that are going on today in 3A is Ruston against Kennett. We got Springford facing Penridge, CB South up against Lower Merion, Abington against Council Rock South. Downingtown East will face Oxford, Methacton against Council Rock North, and Garnet Valley will take on Unionville.
Restart here on the outside line, coming off of the stick of Bortman. Bortman tries to get inside to Hackman. Sammy Hackman guilty of the obstruction call. So a long start re-hit from Sophie Shart lands connected to the stick of Peyton Ritchie. Ritchie tries to battle through. She is unable to control it. Now again with Beagle. on the outside line. Connolly trying to get to Angerer in the midfield, tips back out to Shart. Shart switches field outside to Maddie Neiman. Now Neiman trying to get through to Angerer. That is tipped off by Anna Sharp for Pennsbury, but bounces back onto the stick of Neiman. She will try to go for the baseline, cannot get there. Picked off by Pennsbury. They try to go outside of the zone, but it goes outside of the sideline instead. Restart coming from Neshaminy. Neshaminy trying to do anything they possibly can to gain the circle. Getting pushed back further and further by Pennsbury's defense. Now they go inside, and Richie has a chance here, and it goes across the baseline before she can get to it. So a 16-yard hit for Pennsbury. Check that. They're going to call it off of Pennsbury, so it's going to be a Neshaminy ball up top. Restart inside, trying to get to Angerer. That gets tipped off. Restart one more time from Sophie Shart again. This time she goes to carry, comes across, now gets it onto the stick of Angerer. Angerer impacted right away, and a corner called.
9th corner for Neshaminy this half.
Still looking to convert one as Jamie Pennington goes back to the spot one more time. They will go with Neiman and Connolly up top. Richie is the short option. Four players set for Pennsbury. Goes to Richie and tips up over top of her stick. She gains back control of it, has a carry, goes back to the corner, and Richie with a swing and a miss gets called for the dangerous play. Restart by Dolan on the outside. Tips off a Neshaminy stick, and so it runs Pennsbury up a little bit. They'll get a start one more time. Gets through to Dolan. Outside possession play here. Neshaminy trying to run through. Barnard trying to get anything she possibly can. All she gets is an obstruction call. Tries to get to Richie. Tips off of a stick, running the other way. Still controlled by Pennington. Pennington now again to Connolly. And a mishit almost by Anna Sharp gave Pennington a chance for a pickoff play.
It's been all Neshaminy since this timeout. And Neshaminy getting their free hits off very quickly. Pennsbury a little bit slower, and I think it's affecting their game when they do have opportunities on those free positions.
Tipped up and running out of play. Joniak had a chance for a run there. She was unable to get a hold of it. Comes back in, lands onto the stick of Colette Shart. Colette Shart, the freshman forward, younger sister of the senior defender and captain Sophie Shart, getting her first action on the day today. Ball off of the leg, and a 10th corner of the first half for Neshaminy. Still sitting over on the day. 8 minutes left to go in the first half, no score. A little different setup here. Sophie Shart going for it. Goes up top, landing onto the stick of Pennington. Goes back out of play to Neiman. Neiman gets it inside to Connolly. Connolly with a chance now. Gets it onto the stick of Colette Shart, and she is guilty of an obstruction call on the poke check. So Pennsbury tries to go fast break now. Here's a running Sammy Hackman, unable to get to the ball. Gets 1v1 with Tori Young and actually wins the possession. Hackman runs it for the baseline, still has it. Pops out and comes back into play. And here's Barnhart now going the other way for Neshaminy, trying to get to Richie. She does. Richie 1v1 with Anna Sharp. Sharp comes to the better of that, has a carry. Gets it to the circle. It pops up off of the foot of Sammy Hackman. So Neshaminy goes free hit, long ball trying to release Colette Sharp. Can't get there. Now the speed of play has seemingly picked up a little bit between these two teams.
Anna Sharp has been very effective in the midfield, breaking down Neshaminy's pushes to goal and also really feeding her attackers.
Pops up, landing onto the stick of a Pennsbury player, but it hits off of the foot of a Neshaminy player in the process of, and now a run of play back in the first shot on goal today, kicked away by Maddie Tiemann.
That was a great quick release shot. Goalkeeper was definitely ready for that, but I didn't even see it coming. I mean, I'm trying to figure out, let's see who that was. Was it number 10?
Looked like it came off of the stick of Kaylee Williams in the process. Now back inside, here's Anna Sharp one more time, twisting and turning, trying to get anything inside the circle. 3 Pennsbury players there, and they are all guilty of stick checking, so it sends out the opposite way. Back again now, here's Hackman with a chance inside the circle. She gets popped right out of play as the Brooke Cordisco was trying to pull for it and was blocked out. Now here's Geller. Geller with a chance. She tries to turn. Play goes back 30 out. Geller will have the restart here. Same option again as she goes trying to release Hitchingham down the line. Obstruction called. Geller restarts again, tries to go inside of the circle. It gets right onto the stick of Nicole Joniak. First open face opportunity.
That was a nice feed in from Geller. I felt like Pennsbury's attack positions were in right spots, just misfired or misconnected a little bit.
Colette Sharp comes out. Carolyn Angerer back in the game for Neshaminy as Pennsbury looks to make a substitution here. One of their swing players, Cami Stomiller, she'll enter in for Kaylee Williams.
Pennington's passes are very strong and on target. I mean, she's carrying the ball and without missing a beat, pushing it up to her attackers with really great force.
Pennsbury and Neshaminy both using their depth of bench to try to do anything they can to pull a goal out with 4 minutes left to go here in the first half. The weather may have something to do with it today as well, too, as it has been cold and blustery throughout the day in the Philadelphia area, and running in this weather is sometimes not the easiest thing to do. Here is onto the stick of Hackman, Sammy Hackman with a run, and she is just picked off and visibly frustrated.
Beautiful defensive play by Brooke Tordisco.
Now here comes Sophie Sharp running right through the middle of play, gets it on the stick of Peyton Ritchie. Ritchie is impacted by Anna Sharp and continues possession of play on the self-start. Ritchie gets impacted one more time, and Maddie Neiman will have a chance to restart. Neiman, sweeping shot inside, gets it on the stick of Ritchie. Ritchie's gonna have to change position here. She does, finally gets a sweep through, and it's kicked away by Kurzeb.
Second shot on goal today, or maybe third, I'm not sure. I believe second, though. And held whistle there by the umpire, and a smart held whistle. There was a corner opportunity, but Peyton Ritchie definitely had control of that ball, was moving toward goal, did get a shot off, just didn't score.
Sharp trying to get the pass there to Anger. It does not get through. This time they go around side with Neiman. It does get to Anger. To Ritchie, bounces it back out to Neiman. Neiman sweeping shot inside, goes wide of the net and also wide of her teammate Emily Colliar and across the baseline. So Pennsbury will have a 16-yard restart. 2:25 remaining in the first half. Geller blocked out of play. She will have a restart there. Quick hit, restart, long ball, releases Hackman. Midfield, she switches off to the side. One option, Sammy Hackman carries it through, tries to get it. It lands right onto the stick and kicked away by Maddie Teeming, and open face goal again.
Hackman did a fine job carrying that ball and getting the shot off on the goalkeeper's pads, but I have to say there were she had the ball, 2 forwards up there, and the midfield was 10 yards behind. There was really very few passing options on that run to goal.
Bortman had a carry chance for Pennsbury. It tips off, gets onto the stick of Angera, then comes back and lands onto the stick of 2 Pennsbury defenders before it ticks through and lands back on Hackman one more time. Hackman inside the circle, and Hackman called for the obstruction, and so it will send the way of Tori Young trying to get it out of the zone for Neshaminy, but it tips right back into the Pennsbury defense and turned over one more time. They're unable to do anything as it tips all the way outside. Kayla Connolly has it on the sideline now. Connolly goes 1v1 with Hitchingham. Hitchingham gets the win, tries to go midfield. That lands onto the stick of Anna Sharp. Sharp gets it through to Hackman. Hackman will try to carry to the circle. Restart Geller. Goes the outside stick check one more time. Restart goes again. And a whistle, and finally a corner call.
Defense did not move 5 yards away.
So first corner of the game called for Pennsbury comes with just 25 seconds left to go in the half. Geller goes outside to the spot, just one player up top, that is Anna Sharp, 3 wide. Goes up top to Sharp. Sharp controls, looks, carries across, tries to get a stick on it, and instead is guilty of the check. Quick start comes across for Neshaminy, gets to the stick of Ritchie at midfield. She will just carry as the horn will sound, and we go 30 minutes in the books and the end of a scoreless first half. So 2 teams that have really shown their defensive prowess, but have also shown their offensive prowess and played a game in the 25s, and yet no goals on the board.
Yeah, I mean, if I was Neshaminy, I would be a little frustrated right now. I've had 10 corners, only produced 2 shots on the goalkeeper's pads, and really had quite a few opportunities that they just weren't able to capitalize on. Certainly their pushes to goal, their creating opportunities has been impressive, but it comes down to when that ball goes in the goal. And again, props to Pennsbury's defense. They've done a fine job. They're playing definitely a defensive mindset, I think. It'll be interesting to see if they can turn that switch. Even though their attackers have been able to get 2 shots on goal and had some opportunities, when they do have the ball, it kind of seems like those 3 forwards are out there by themselves, because the defense and the midfield, and definitely the midfield, is, pretty far away, not really, kind of waiting for that pass ball to come out. So whether or not they can change their mindset from defensive mindset to more of a let's get the ball in the goal, I think it'll make a big difference.
Peyton Ritchie had 2 good runs for Neshaminy. Sammy Hackman had 2 good runs for Pennsbury. Neither of them were able to put the ball to the cage, and so we sit at halftime still tied 0-0 in this first round PIAA District 1 3A matchup. We'll be right back on the Sports Fanbase Network. This live video stream of the Phila Field Hockey Game of the Week is brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions, based right outside of Philadelphia. Payroll Service Solutions is a huge supporter of high school sports and the Sports Fanbase Network. If you are a small and medium-sized business in need of a payroll and benefits company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY-EASY. Matt Jolis along with Kathleen Simone. Game 1 in round 1 of the PIAA Class 3A District 1 playoffs between Pennsbury and Neshaminy. Second half action about to get underway. We are scoreless at 0.
Scoreless, but by no means a boring game. It's been a really interesting game with lots of corner opportunities for Neshaminy and strong defense. It's been a great showcase of defense for both teams.
Neshaminy in the blue kilts, white tops with red numbers on the start, going left to right with Jamie Pennington here. Pennsbury in the all black with orange trim and numbers. And a quick shot inside coming off of the stick of Peyton Ritchie lands into the pads of Kira Korzeb. She is able to kick it out, and a rechance there from Pennington lands back into Korzeb's pads one more time for the kick out. And now Pennsbury has a run down the outside line. Here is Sammy Hackman. Hackman leaves it off and then finally goes through trying to get onto the stick of Nicole Joniak. Joniak had two chances early in the first half. She was unable to convert on either of them as they look for her again midfield and mid of the circle. Ball tips up off of the body of a Pennsbury player, so it will go the way of Neshaminy. Restart coming from Sophie Shart. Shart gets a long hit to midfield, trying to get onto the stick of Maddie Neiman, but Neiman blocked out the defensive play from Maya Geller, so Geller has the restart again. Getting through to Hackman. Comes back across. Now Pennsbury trying to switch field position. They lose ball on it. Peyton Ritchie picks up the switch and goes the opposite direction. Ritchie in a 1v1 battle against Bortman. Ritchie gets the win, but an obstruction comes back, restarted by Maddie Spratt. Check that. That was the other Maddie Neiman.
Neshaminy seemed to be stepping up to the ball and winning a lot of 50-50 balls, which is somewhat characteristic of this team. They're always aggressive. They always move to the ball well, and today is no different.
Check in online at facebook.com/SFBN, and we are running a poll. Who will bring home the W? And currently, right now, Pennsbury is leading 56% to 44%. So it looks like the fans out there watching the game are trying to see something here as Neshaminy has a corner, goes up top, lands under the stick of Connolly. Connolly with a shot kicked away by Korzeb again, still on the floor of play, and it goes outside of the baseline. And so Pennsbury will get the 16-yard start.
Korzeb again with a diving save. I mean, that corner was open. Neshaminy was there. They had their post player, and Korzeb got to it. She's been really a strong defender for this team.
Here's a chance run for Sammy Hackman here down the line, going 1v1 against Tori Young. Hackman coming inside, lifts up inside the circle. It gets across to Joniak on her stick. Tips out.
That hit the goalkeeper.
It did. That was about what I was to say, is it did hit Maddie Neiman and tips out the sideline, but they call it a baseline exit, and it sends the way of Neshaminy, but they are only able to gain the sideline, so it comes back in. Now this is Geller midfield trying to get possession. She has to go back to the outside line before she's obstructed. Long hit lands onto the stick of Joniak, mid of the circle. Joniak in a 1v1 battle, and it comes away from her, and a hit upfield that goes off of Brielle Ames and then lands to Peyton Ritchie via way of Maddie Neiman. Ritchie running down the line here. She gets across through Bortman. Ritchie inside the circle, carrying herself right across the face of the goal. Diving away was Korzeb. It evades everyone. Tips back inside midfield. Korzeb has a chance there, but it's swept out before it gets to her. So Pennsbury's defense standing tall. Now it's right in the center, goes through. Stick check and a corner called.
I'm not an official, and I don't proclaim to be an official, but boy, I don't know about calling that corner. Right? I mean, it was right in front of the goal. I mean, I know sometimes you need to call it and give them that opportunity, but man, it was a scramble.
Second corner of the first half, 12th overall on the game for Neshaminy here. It goes across, tips over the stick of Connolly, lands through, finally onto the stick of Barnard. Barnard with a chance there. She can't get it. She's outside of the circle now. Neiman reinserts the ball, lands to the stick of Ritchie. Korzeb kick, save, and a beauty out the back line. So Pennsbury will have the ball, but will have to bring it. Sorry, check that. Neshaminy will have the ball, but they'll have to bring it all the way back up top. Or they're going to give it to Pennsbury. It went off of Korzeb, but they give it to Pennsbury. Interesting call. Twice now, opposite sides off of the goaltender, and it goes the way of the defensive team.
Whoa, nice
Center
cross ball.
shot, Connolly chance there. Ball up top and goal scored off of the stick of Jamie Pennington.
She saw that corner, lifted the ball, put it right in the net. I mean, I saw her look up for that split second and beautifully placed, great composure under a great amount of pressure.
And so Neshaminy, a ball that comes back out, pops up off of the top, lands to the stick of Pennington, and then a lifted shot inside. And Pennington puts a goal on the board for Neshaminy. Deflection off of the corner. 24 and change left to go in the second half. Neshaminy finally breaks through, one on the board. Now here a chance with Neiman. Maddie Neiman trying to go to the outside line. She gets it through, lands it onto the stick of Brielle Ames. Ames, though, guilty of a turnover, sends it to the way of Sophie Hackman. Sophie Sharp trying to get a restart here. Goes for Maddie Neiman, tips out of bounds, so it will be Anna Sharp with a restart on the sideline. Sharp self-start, trying to get to Hackman. High ball through the defense and offense. And a chance here now as Neshaminy will have a restart with Maddie Neiman. As we chase blowing papers, battling the elements in the press box high above the field. Second game outside in October. It is something you don't look forward to, but yet it is at least blue skies and sunshine. Here's a run of play and a chance, wide shot from Maya Geller.
And Maya is Pennsbury's top scorer, and she's been, as a midfielder, she's been so involved and in the defense that it was great to see her really push it up there and join the attacking force. I'm not sure if a lot of her goals this season were scored on penalty corners, but I think that they need her hard hit and her accuracy up front. So it was great to see that. I'm hoping to see a little bit more.
5 black jerseys around 1 white jersey, and Anna Sharp comes out with the ball for Pennsbury. Reverse position shot for her. Tips off of the stick of Sophie Sharp, bounces back out of bounds. Here's Geller one more time. Geller inside the circle, carries away, baseline, reverse position hit, wide and high, going straight over top of the cage. So Pennsbury loses out on that offensive possession, and Neshaminy will have a restart that will come off of the stick of Ames. Brielle Ames, long position hit, trying to release Peyton Ritchie. She gets it to Ritchie. Ritchie is swept away from the play by Celia Dolan.
You know, I said a moment ago that I would love to see that Geller be a little bit more part of the attack for Pennsbury. I want to make it clear that I'm not rooting for any particular team today.
Long shot play, open mouth of the goal, as there was a chance there for Kayla Connolly, but then Korzeb was impacted on that play by Sophia Perillo, and so immediately right in front of the referee, the play is blown dead. No goal called. Pennsbury has a chance for a restart, but they are stuck back in their own defensive zone, unable to get out of bounds. Pennsbury now in 1v1 battles. Geller is impacted. She gets it now up to Hackman. Hackman has a chance, too wide, trying to release to the outside line. They do, as it lands onto the stick that looked to be Kaylee Williams, who's switched into the far side wing forward position. Geller one more time here, trying to go through. Williams trying to break that outside line as they've moved Hackman back into the midfield now. Trying to get here now to the stick of Angerer for Neshaminy. Angerer has it. She's battled by Anna Sharp 1v1. Anger carrying through, and Sharp this time does get the poke check. Gets through to Hackman. Hackman goes through 2 Neshaminy defenders. Hackman with a chance inside the circle here, and it pops up off of the stick of a Neshaminy player out of bounds, so it will come about 20 yards out and a restart for Pennsbury. Sharp and Geller up top. Sharp self-starts and carries. Tries to go outside line. Kaylee Williams comes up trying to gain possession. She's unable to do so. Bounces all the way back out for Bortman. Tipped through onto the stick of Jamie Hude and then into that of Celia Dolan. Dolan goes across to Geller on the restart. Gets to the stick of Sharp. Sharp battles 1v1. Comes back out and gets to Anger. Anger to Peyton Ritchie. 3 players back for Pennsbury as Ritchie has to run it herself. She is finally joined into that run by Sophia Perillo, but she is impacted on the play obstruction called. Ritchie restarts, goes to the baseline. Ritchie carrying right across the baseline into the circle corner, called.
Neshaminy really pushes their midfielders up, giving Ritchie in that opportunity in that case and many other cases a lot of passing options. There were 3 midfielders right there at the top of the circle, 2 attackers supporting. Great corner opportunity.
3rd corner of the half, 13th of the game for Neshaminy. Goes up top, tips up off of the stick of Kayla Connolly into the body, and so it goes the opposite direction for Pennsbury. 18.5 left to play. Neshaminy leads 1-0. A PIAA District 1 3A first round matchup in the top part of the bracket. Onto the stick of Maddie Neiman now. Neiman trying to go through. She is picked off by Geller. Geller has a chance to run it to the sideline. She is unable to do so before she is checked by 2 different Neshaminy defenders. Geller restart, long hit, tips up and goes through into the body of Maddie Spratt, so it will go back the opposite direction. Restarted for Neshaminy, tips up, finally lands onto the stick of Connolly. Connolly goes across for Neiman. Neiman trying to get Anger free. She does. Anger has a carry and it goes right into the foot of a Pennsbury player inside of the circle, and so Pennington goes to the corner spot one more time. 4th corner of the half, 14th of the match. They did convert on one. That was for their first goal of the game. Ritchie here with a chance, and it goes into the foot of a Pennsbury player. Obstruction called. Ritchie's self-start restart goes through the wickets of 2 different Pennsbury players, but finds only the baseline there, and it's out of bounds, so Pennsbury will have a restart. Quick start again, trying to get to the outside line, releasing Joniak. They are unable to do so. It is picked off by Maddie Neiman. Neiman inside of the circle. That is picked off quickly by Bortman.
Beautiful defensive play. She really picked that off. Ritchie was in the center of the field, center of the circle rather. It would have been a great scoring opportunity for her, so well defended.
Brooke Cordisco with the restart here gets to the stick of Anger. Anger has Peyton Ritchie available on the side if she can get around the defensive play from Celia Dolan. She is unable to do so. Neiman has the restart now, and Dolan picks her off one more time. Neiman again goes right across the mouth of the goal and runs right up the stick of Kayla Connolly before it flips over and heads out of bounds, and Pennsbury gets a restart 16 yards out.
15 minutes left in this half. Pennsbury, though, just 1 goal, but I think they need to amp up their play. They're getting beat on 50-50 balls. Neshaminy really stepping up to that. At the same time, Pennsbury's playing a very poised game, and that can serve them well in the long run.
Pennsbury with a chance there goes wide of Kaylee Williams. out of bounds, heads back Neshaminy's way. Neshaminy has a chance in a restart here as they send Sophia Perillo deep to the corner, and a card issued on the play. And it's going to be, looks like Perillo getting a green card for 5 minutes for pushing. So Sophia Perillo goes to the box, 5 minutes for pushing. And with 16 left to go, this is a huge opportunity for Pennsbury.
Absolutely. We'll see if they're able to turn the switch and take advantage of this numbers up opportunity.
Bortman will have the restart here. Flicks it through the midfield, lands onto the stick of Kaylee Williams, and then pops out, and two Neshaminy players go head-to-head with each other. Ball called for the way of Neshaminy, but they are impacted defensively. It pops out for Joniak. Nicole Joniak has a chance here as she goes 1v1 against Maddie Neiman. Joniak, Neiman goes baseline and blocks her out of play. Timeout called by the referee as Kaylee Williams is shook up on the last play. So she'll come out and replaced by Cammie Stolmiller. Pennsbury still on the advantage play here, but forces a obstruction inside of the circle. So another corner called as they will send Sophie Shart to the spot. 5th corner of the second half. 15th of the match for Neshaminy.
That's a lot of corners, and that's a lot of heavy thinking and heavy playing for these 4 defenders and the goalkeeper.
And a massive disparity between the two as another corner gets called as Korzeb could only do anything but trap the ball. It is now 16-1 on corners. Neshaminy goes again here. Shart goes up top to the stick of Pennington. Pennington goes across to Neiman. Neiman whip shot outside, guilty of the dangerous play. And Pennsbury evades that. So a restart, 16 out. Miss hit comes right across. They were trying to connect with Nicole Joniak. It tips over the stick of Maddie Neiman, goes out of bounds. Restarted one more time. This is Cordisco. Cordisco goes inside, picked off by Geller. Geller, though, guilty of the obstruction on that play. Goes through on a hit from Pennington to the circle. Bortman with a restart here. She mishits, and it comes up to the way of Peyton Ritchie. Ritchie has a chance here through the wickets of one Pennsbury defender. Comes to the outside line. And now Ritchie is blocked deep in the corner and has to try to control as much as she can. And all she can do is try to find it into the body of a Pennsbury player. And another corner called as they call Celia Dolan guilty of obstruction there.
16 corners for Neshaminy, of which Ritchie has had to have created at least half. She is very adept at forcing those corners, creating opportunities for her teammates.
This will be the 17th of the game, 7th of the half. Tap comes out to Neiman up top, goes across onto the stick of Pennington. Pennington is beat to the ball by Bortman and then has to recollect it, and it goes into Angerer off of the stick of her teammate and out of bounds. So Pennsbury ball as they need to try to get out of the defensive zone, and a chip shot hit goes through, lands onto the stick of Geller. Geller trying to carry through. She is bumped down by Maddie Neiman. No call there.
This half has been all Neshaminy. Pennsbury's had 2 shots, one on goal, one toward goal, both generated by Geller. And that's about all the offense they've been able to generate this half.
The aforementioned Geller carrying the ball there, but she is picked off by Sophie Sharp, goes the opposite way. Angerer now here in a battle with Anna Sharp, and Anna Sharp this time gets the avail to that one and immediately sends it back into the stick of a attacking Neshaminy midfielder, and that's Jamie Pennington. Now a ball through and free for Nicole Joniak, and it's kicked away by Maddie Tiemann. Angerer has it, trying to drive through, picked up, and Sammy Hackman guilty of the obstruction there as the shot on the restart there lands right back into the stick of Celia Dolan. Dolan will have a restart for Pennsbury here, trying to put a run together. Dolan gets it in. It is picked off by Hackman, now onto Joniak. Joniak has a run in the circle. Chance here, pops over the head of a ducking Sammy Hackman, and then pops all the way out for Peyton Ritchie at midfield. Ritchie with a run here. It tips up off of the body of Casey Glynn. Ritchie restarts, goes through, and this time gets around Casey Glynn before Glynn spins back and tries to poke check it away, but Ritchie still has it for a run. Finally picked off by Anna Sharp, sends it back out to Neiman. Neiman shot inside, pops off of a Pennsbury defender, goes to Pennington. Pennington to Ritchie again, this time just an obstruction called just outside of the circle. Neiman, sweeping shot inside through, lands to Korzib, and then tipped off. She's interfered, or at least tried to call for interference on the play, but instead a corner called again as Anna Sharp has a little discussion with the officials regarding that whistle. 4:25 left to go. Neshaminy at the penalty spot one more time. Tips back up, lands on the stick of Pennington to Ritchie. Ritchie defended by two black jerseys. Pops it back out to Neiman, into Sharp, now to Pennington again. Pennington carries across, but Sharp guilty of the stick check there, and so this time it comes to Pennington's way, and Pennsbury will have a restart. Geller trying to go. Pennsbury, too many players back for them, trying to release upfield with just 8 minutes left to go in this game.
Love to see those other midfielders join the attack too, to give Pennsbury some more options.
Pennsbury playing contained defense as though they're leading this game. They are actually trailing by one. Anna Sharp here now with the ball, trying to get through the play. She just carries around. Has Sammy Hackman free up front if she wants to make a hit through. Instead, she goes 1v1, impacted by Sophie Sharp and also Maddie Neiman, and a timeout called.
Anna Sharp again really been a steady attack or defender, blocking many opportunities that Neshaminy's had and been extremely effective in transition.
8:09 left to go in the match. Neshaminy leading 1-0. This live video stream of the Phila Field Hockey Game of the Week is brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions, based right outside of Philadelphia. Payroll Service Solutions is a huge supporter of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you are a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll and benefits company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY-EASY. Matt Ellis along with Kathleen Simone up top of the field hockey field at Neshaminy High School. This PIAA District 1 3A first round matchup. The 9th seeded Neshaminy against 24th seed Pennsbury in the top edge of the bracket here. The winner of this game would face Souderton Wednesday afternoon, and then the winner of that game would go into the quarterfinals against either Central Bucks East or the winner of the Westchester Ruston Kennett game, who will play Central Bucks East.
Definitely competition ahead, but right now the focus has got to be on this last 8 minutes. Neshaminy has been outstanding the second half, dominating in possession time, stepping up to loose balls, creating numerous corner opportunities, getting lots of cross balls across the goal, and also holding back Pennsbury from essentially entering really their offensive 40 aside from 2 opportunities. I'm not counting Pennsbury out though now. They really need to turn the switch on their attack and show some fire. You know, when you're down 1-0, of course you don't want another goal to get in, but you need a goal. So they're going to have to push up some of those players, stop playing maybe quite as defensively, and try to fire some balls on goal.
24 teams in the district playoffs. First 8 teams get a bye into the second round, so Neshaminy at the 9 seed is the highest seeded team in the first round matchups. It will go all the way through to Saturday, November 3rd, which will be the district championship game. That game will be at Methacton High School one way or another at 5:30 p.m. on that Saturday. 6 teams out of this District 1 tournament will go to the state finals. So if you get yourself to the semifinals, you're guaranteed a spot through into the state playoffs. Pennsbury with the ball and a restart here, and a sharp long hit trying to get Sammy Hackman free. It gets all the way back to the circle. Joniak has a chance for a block here. She is unable to do so. Dolan now with a chance here. Gets through. Geller has it. Geller goes up top, leaving it off. Gets it through to Hackman, top of the circle, and Hackman, guilty of the obstruction, turns it back to Neshaminy.
The fact that Neshaminy, a 9th seed, has to play in the first round with an overall record of 15-3 and a league record of 12-0 really is a testament to how strong some of these top 8 teams are, not only in their records, but how many
goals. And a sharp ball right in front of the goal pops out of play. Closest chance Pennsbury has had in the second half. Now Geller here tipping and tapping her way through. Corner called.
And Pennsbury does have a lot of their players pushed up in the circle, something they desperately needed to do to create some attack, and in this case, actually created a corner opportunity for them.
Kaylee Williams will go to the spot. Sharp and Hackman both up top. They go to Geller instead. Short. Geller sweeps through, goes right into the pads of Maddie Tiemann. Ball still alive here. Geller has it right at the top of the circle. She's tipped and tapped by Sophie Shart, and then finally goes into the body of Jamie Pennington, and a second corner called.
2 shots on goal for Pennsbury this half, both from Geller. They're obviously looking to her. She's looking to get that ball. I think the corner insert will probably work its way back to her.
Williams up top to Anna Sharp, goes through. Geller has it one more time. Geller tries for a chance, and she is guilty of a stick check call, and so it sends the way of Neshaminy. Shart with a restart here to Neiman, comes through, gets onto the stick of Peyton Ritchie, and Ritchie has the ability to run 1v1, gets it across, and it is tipped out of play by Casey Glynn, and so Ritchie will just take it to the line and restart. 5 minutes left to go in the game. Peyton Ritchie trying to run through. She is tipped and picked off by Dolan, and it will go the way of Pennsbury here. Celia Dolan, one-handed chance trying to get grabbed midfield by Geller, cannot do so. Here's Joniak now with the ball 1v1 against Neiman.
Pennsbury got to get that ball up there quickly, get as many players as they can inside their 25.
Long hit by Geller, goes through, lands onto the stick of Sammy Hackman, and then Kaylee Williams has it. Williams tries to go on the sideline. It goes right into the body of a Pennsbury player. That was Kayla Connolly blocking out the play. Shot to midfield here, picked off by Geller. Geller blocked out by 2 players and then tripped hard as she's coming across the line. Carolyn Angerer guilty of the foul there. So a restart from about 30 yards out.
It's been a different team since the timeout for Pennsbury.
And a Sharp with the restart here. Goes into the circle, evades all black jerseys, and goes across the baseline. .439 and counting as Neshaminy will have a restart. 16 free. Goes to Angerer. Angerer tries to get around Dolan. Dolan blocks it away. Restart again by Angerer. Tries to get Peyton Ritchie up. Gets through Peyton Ritchie and then finally blocked out of play by Casey Glynn. Glynn defensively trying to go against Ritchie. Now Dolan trying to go 1v1. Controlled by Ritchie at the line. She self-starts, goes around Dolan, and it gets to Glynn and then to Sharp, who picks it off, sends it back up, but Neiman blocks it down and sends it into the zone. Sharp again trying to go through 3 white jerseys. Maddie Neiman has it to Pennington. Pennington carries for the circle. She is impacted by Dolan. Dolan tries to go 1v1 again, but instead Pennington gets it all the way outside and onto the stick of Neiman before she is guilty of an obstruction call, and it sends out to Glynn for a restart. Casey Glynn goes up, tips off of Geller onto the stick of Sammy Hackman, who makes a move to get free of 2 Neshaminy defenders, and now Hackman has a run of play. She has Joniak and Williams up top. Now Dolan joins into it. Angerer is picked off by Sharp, who gets it for a chance to Dolan. Dolan is carrying for the circle here. Now just kind of shepherded out of play by Neshaminy. Pennsbury will have a chance here, 2:54. And a chance now here. Again, Geller to the circle. It gets onto the stick of Hackman. Hackman, though, is guilty of the hack. And so it sends the way of Neshaminy and a chance for them to clear the zone. Two and a half left to go. Turnover. Anna Sharp with a chance here now. Pennsbury trying to do anything they can to find a spot and put one on the board. Peyton Ritchie has it, an open field play with a long run here. 1v1 against Glynn. Ritchie gets the spot.
Ritchie really kind of owning the right side of the field, carries the ball very well, uses that Y dodge, which you don't really see on turf too much, but you're seeing a lot today on the grass field.
Gets it off, and it was carried by Maddie Neiman before it's picked off by Celia Dolan, and now comes back up here. This is Joniak with the chance here. Joniak goes miss-hit. Quick play. Trying to go through. Joniak curling it, grabs it again, tries to get it through, trying to get it onto the stick of Sammy Hackman, unable to do so. Neshaminy has a run of play here, and it's tapped out of bounds by Casey Glynn. 1.5 left to go. Neiman will have a restart. Neshaminy taking their time here. They have the 1-goal advantage. Lifted hit lands into the head of Celia Dolan. Pennsbury will have a chance here, and Dolan hits right into the center of the field, lands onto the stick of Sophie Shart. Turns back. Peyton Ritchie and Carolyn Anger are moving it. Now Ritchie here through. She has a chance to gain the baseline. 1 minute left to go. Pennsbury has to run fast if they're going to try to get anything downfield. Comes through, tips off of Neiman's stick, lands to Pennington. Here's a chance for Hackman now. She's going to have to run quickly with 44 seconds left to go as she's guilty of the obstruction. Turns it back to Sophie Shart, and Neshaminy will take their time. Long hit goes all the way out of bounds and down the hill on the opposite side of the field. 30 seconds left to go. Restart by Borman. Trying to get it through. Landing onto the stick of Kaylee Williams. Williams trying to get anything free. Cannot do so. Lands finally onto the stick one more time of Sophia Perillo. 13 seconds left to go. Obstruction called. Pennsbury has the ball. Bortman trying one more time. 7, 6, 5 seconds ticking away. Whistle called. This will see it to the whistle. The buzzer will sound, and Neshaminy will come out of this one with a 1-0 victory.
And well earned by Neshaminy. I mean, they are definitely going to celebrate, get ready for round 2 of districts. But, you know, with 18 corners, numerous opportunities. I don't know that they're going to be thrilled. They're going to need a little bit more than one goal perhaps when they're facing Souderton. But right now they should just enjoy the moment, beating a talented Pennsbury team.
So Neshaminy, the 9th-seeded team in the 24 seeds of the tournament, will head into round 2. They will face the number 8 seed Souderton. That game will be at 3:30 p.m. on Wednesday. So just the one goal on the game. Midway through the first half, ball bounces forward off of the corner position and into the net, coming off of the stick of Jamie Pennington, and it lands Neshaminy a 1-0 victory.
Before we head into the post-game show, just wanted to give a shout-out to both teams for voting for, and their fans for voting for this game for the Game of the Week. We will also have a Game of the Week next week. Be sure to check philafieldhockey.com for details and on their social media at Phila FH.
This has been week 8 of the Phila Field Hockey Game of the Weeks, all of them brought to you live on the Sports Fanbase Network. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with the Payroll Service Solutions post-game show. Ninth seed Neshaminy with a 1-0 win over Pennsbury in the first round of the PIAA District 1 3A playoffs. Welcome back to the Payroll Service Solutions post-game show. And we are joined by Maddie Neiman, the sophomore midfielder, who had a stellar day defensively. It seemed like a lot of times the balls were popping back out to you, and then you were able to reinsert them inside. How are you able to turn those around into offensive opportunities for your team today?
I just try to fight my hardest. I know I want to win. I know I want to get the ball in, and I just really focus on that. It's really a mind game.
You're the highest seeded of the teams to have to play a first-round game. Now you go into playing a very tough game in the second round against a very tough Souderton team.
Yeah, I just really want to keep my head in the game, and I know it's going to be tough, but I feel like our team is strong, and we'll be able to get through it.
Well, congratulations on the win. Good luck in the second round. We're going to go down the line here and switch places and bring in Britt Cordesco, the junior defender. Tough day today. It seemed as though every time Pennsbury had a run, you were able to effectively get the box off of them. So how was it that you were just able to gain ball control out of their runs?
Well, you just have to, it's kind of like a mind game what Maddie said. You just have to kind of follow them down and then make your move, but you don't want to like go all in because you can miss it and then it could be a turnover. But yeah, you just want to go follow them and then make your move and then you get it up to the offense.
You get the first playoff game at home. Now you've got to go on the road. How does it feel, though, to get a win under your belt and go on to the second round?
It feels great, but I know these teams are going to be strong, but we're a strong team too, and I have faith in our team, and I think we can go really far. We're
going to bring Jamie Pennington in and finish off this post-game show. One goal on the day. It comes off of a mixer ball on a corner, lands to you, and you were able to get it back into the cage.
Yeah, a couple of times before, we were all kind of scrambling for the ball, and then this time it just came to me, and I saw that the corner was open not open, but I saw that I could try and hit the corner, and I was able to.
18 corners on the game today. You get one of them in. A little frustrating offensively for you guys, I'm sure.
Yeah, the ball just really wasn't bouncing for us today. You do have those types of games, so we just knew that we had to be persistent and keep getting shots off whenever we could.
24 teams in the tournament. You're one of them through into the second round now. You've got a tough game coming up against Souderton, and you have to do a quick turnaround playing Wednesday afternoon. How do you flip yourself around mentally and go from celebrating a win to preparing for the next game?
I think we just have to be disciplined with ourselves. It's great that we won, got the first round over with, but we just really have to focus tomorrow in practice and just focus on seeing Souderton.
Good luck. Go get warm. I know it's a little chilly out here, and congratulations and good luck Wednesday. That's it for us on week 8 of the Phila Field Hockey Game of the Week, presented by Payroll Service Solutions. As always, for small and medium-sized businesses in need of a benefits company, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 1-866-PAY-EASY. They will take care of you and also continue to support Philadelphia sports. For Matt Gillis and Kathleen Simone and everybody at the Sports Fanbase Network, we'll see you next week.